Welcome to a night of total terror. Night of the Living Dead.
Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy on Board Game Geek, bringing you another playthrough, this time of a brand new Kickstarter game that I just received called Run, Fight, or Die. This is a game designed by Richard Lanius, who is quite famous for his great game designs such as Arkham Horror, Defenders of the Realm, and many others. Great designer that I enjoy his games a great deal, and this is another one. This is also in one of my other favorite genres, though I'm getting a bit tired of the new zombie games. There's a lot of them. This is a zombie game, but it's a little different. It kind of reminds me of a bunch of other games that use dice. It's definitely what we would call a Yahtzee type game, where you're rolling dice and using those dice to take actions. But as you can see, this is a 30 to 60 minute game. It says 14 plus, 1 to 4 players. There is a solo version and a co-op version. I have the expansion for the co-op version. That is expansion pack 3, new co-op play. Also, I have the zombie horde expansion, which gives me new types of zombies. Pretty cool. But I am going to say that the one thing I missed out on, I don't know why I didn't get it, and now I'm kind of regretting it, is the big giant zombie boss, because all you get in the box is a big token. But anyway, we're gonna run through the setup. I'm going to teach you how to play to the best of my ability. This is a learning session for both of us. So if I do make some errors or mistakes, please let me know what they are. But I'm going to warn you that I am learning this game with you. I have read the rules, and I am going to get it set up with you, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to run through whatever stumbling blocks we find together. So let me get on to that. So once again, Run, Fight, or Die by Richard Lanius. I'm going to get this set up, and we're going to start playing. I was debating playing the solo rules, but I think I'm going to do that in a different session. I'm actually going to show you what it's like to play a multiplayer game. I'm just going to play all the characters. Probably 3. I think 3 is really, it seems like that's the good number for it. And then maybe if we're all enjoying that and I do another round, I'll do the solo or the co-op version and see what that's like as well. But the game out of the box is meant to be cooperative or solo. That's what comes out of the main box. So we'll do the, I'm sorry, not cooperative, competitive. So we'll do the competitive version and we'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoy this. So let's get ready to run from some zombies. The one thing I will be using in this is the zombie horde expansion. Why? Because it gives you more variety, and that sounds like fun to me. And it's probably we're probably gonna die anyway, because I don't know how to play to begin with, and we're going to be adding an expansion on it right away. So I will be adding this expansion to our gameplay. So again, let me get things started. We're going to get set up and play the game. First and foremost, we're going to use a dice bowl. Yes, we are, because I like my dice bowl, and it's in this game. It'll be easy to keep that out in the middle of the table as we roll our dice for this game. And these are some big. I guess I know this isn't a review, but this is a gameplay session. But I'm going to show you these are some pretty beefy dice. This is the bonus die. We won't have this at the beginning. We'll have these 5 action dice and our event die to roll during the first part of the game in the setup. So that's basically, what I'm gonna do is put this here, and I'll put the characters there, and I'm gonna put the cards around the dice bowl. That seems like that might be the most efficient. Now, if you're playing with other players, you could even do this with this in the middle and have every player on each side. That'd be kind of cool with the dice bowl right down the center for everybody to see. But let's get started with the first part of setup. Now, the first thing we do is we pick our characters and set up our boards. So when picking the characters, there's quite a few to choose from. I don't know anything about their abilities. So I'm kind of flipping through them going, what do I want to pick? I think I'll just pick some random stuff and see how they go. Notice they each have combos. And if you get your dice combo, then you can do the ability. It has a little story and a once per turn or special ability. So there's a special ability and a combo, dice combo. This here is their wounds up in the top corner. And let's see, there's several different types of characters to play. A couple of them are expansions. I think like the forward guard, the winning coach, the creepy butcher, I think the sassy secretary. I kind of combined them already, but I believe they're from expansions. And then there's Guy. Yeah, he's the toughest of them, I believe. Anyway, we're not going to play with him. We're going to play with some the more ordinary folks in the game. So I think, let's see, who do we want to play with? I think we have to do the Sweet Prom Girl just because, you know, we can add the whole slasher chick mentality to the zombie game. So we're going to take her. I think the other one we'll take is, let's see, the phone technician. Why not? The phone technician. And would you want damsels in distress or big buff guys? I don't know. We also have the athlete. I don't know. We got a whole bunch of choices. And since I really don't know which one's better for me or that, or I have no idea. Let's take the phone technician surrounded by a couple ladies. The sassy secretary will be the other one. And basically how we set up these boards is after we've placed our character, now we're probably going to need enough room around here to place some cards underneath as well, so we'll see how much space we get out of this process. But basically this is the player board, and what you do is you align your character board at the bottom, and we're going to populate these zones with zombies, and they are going to keep coming out over and over and over until we have won or we are dead. So I'm giving all of the players our 3 players their player board, and we will then get on to the continue to setup. I'm going to take all the loot, the wound tokens. I'm going to put them right up here next to the board, and then I'm also going to do the same thing with we'll put him there just for this up north. So next to the dice bowl, I have the bowl of wounds. I'm also going to place the bowl of, or all of the mutant boss zombie victory point tokens in another bowl for later use. Now, in using the horde setup, we're going to take these skill cards, and shuffle them up. Again, we wouldn't do this if we were not using the horde expansion, the zombie horde expansion. If we were just using the base game, these skill cards would not be included. But we are using that, so we're going to do this. So we're going to shuffle these up, and I think I got them pretty well shuffled there. Then we're going to deal 1 to each player. So the first one we're going to deal is to our sassy secretary, and we'll read more about them as we go. So this is her skill. She's got dynamic leadership. She has, first off, it gives her +3 points of health. I assume this helps to offset the fact that the zombies are a bit tougher. At the start of your turn, if there are 11 or more zombies on your board, ignore 1 follower's penalty. Okay, so that means we're going to get followers. Well, the main objective to the game is for us to gain 5 followers. The first one to gain 5 followers there's 2 end game conditions in a competitive game. One is the first person to gain 5 followers can declare the end game. Then everybody, including the person that declared that, gets 1 more turn, and then you do your victory point scores and see who the winner is. The second end condition is a card in the game called the Town Line, or I think it's called the Town Line card, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to find it. Here it is. Nope, that's the playground. There it is. It's the Town Line card. This also tells us in a X number of player game how many followers we need. If this game is drawn and there are that many followers, it just says it right on the card. You have found the Town Line. Check for end game conditions. If end game conditions are not met, reshuffle all discard location cards, include this one, back in the deck. If they are met, which is up here, meaning that in a 3-player game, which is what we'll be doing, if our 3 players have a total of 9 followers, that will also mark the end of the game. So that's how you do. That's how you basically what we're trying to do. But in this case, we're still looking at skill cards. So for the phone technician, we got this. Again, gives him 3 hit points plus a special ability. Critical hits: when you do 1 or more wounds to the mutant boss, do 1 additional wound. That's pretty effective for him. And then last but not least, our sweet prom girl gets this. Key survivors. Score 1 victory point for each follower in your group that has a VP value of 1 or 2. That means, and basically that just helps her with the in-game condition. Then we take all the skill cards and we basically put them back into the box. They're not going to be used for the game. As far as I understand, and I'll keep reading and make sure I got that right, but as I understand it, they are not going to be used for the game. They're simply there to give each of our characters an option. We have a choice to make with these skill cards. We can either take the bonus ability or the +3 hit points. We don't get both. So this one says start at the start of your turn. Yeah, I think for her, I don't know if I like that ability or not, but this is how you do this. We're going to tuck that there, and that is going to mark the fact that she has taken the +3 points. I'm going to move the character cards down a bit to give them some room for these things. So we're going to go on to the phone technician next and see which one he wants. So being that the mutant zombie is one of the main ways to get a lot of points, I think we're going to, for his case, they all start with 5 hit points. He's not going to take the extra hit points. He's going to take the critical hit ability. And then again, we got this score 1 VP for all your followers. I don't know how good that's going to be, but I think we're going to take the key survivors ability as opposed to the extra hit points. And so we're going to place it just like that, and that's where it's going to stay for the game. So she kept this ability here. So we got one character that kept the hit points, and the other 2 kept the special ability associated with the skill card. Now let's go back to our setup. So what is this great pile of stuff in bowls and things that we see here? So in the Horde pack there are 3 types of zombies. I'm just going to show those to you. These are creepers, and they can be really nasty because sometimes they sneak up on you and end up in the closest zone that you have. These are runners, and as you can imagine, they move more quickly. Interestingly enough, there are runners in this kind of reminds me of Zombicide a little bit. And then there are 3 big giant bags. I'm not going to take them all out at once, I think. I'll just take a smattering of regular zombies that go into the game. So now that we've got those out, we need to continue to move on and get things set up further. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to shuffle the zombie horde cards. And we're going to place them up on near the top of the game board as well. These cards here, I'm shuffling them up a bit. I'm going to probably shuffle more off camera. These represent, because we're using the expansion, these show us what types of zombies come out. So you will see like this crawler one. Yeah, so we're going to play with those, and you'll see how those work during gameplay. But again, I want to make the differentiation between the base game and the expansion. These are not used in the base game. This is because I'm using the Zombie Horde expansion only. Now we're going to shuffle those up. Now the beginning game of the zombies is the same as the base setup. So the way you set it up. So anyway, you don't use the special zombies in the Horde setup. It doesn't change anything. Those Horde zombies, the special zombies, come out later. So we're going to quickly do some setup on the main boards, and we'll show you what that looks like. So we got to have a little mix of them, but let's see. We're going to get a couple of them out for each different type. Maybe I'll just put them out on the board. We'll figure it all out. I think a couple of them are. These are definitely all different miniatures. I'll show you what they look like. There's 3 different kinds. There's a weird one that came with the zombie horde. These are regular zombies. Actually, these are not regular zombies. These are brutes. There are also regular zombies that came with the zombie horde, but there are 3 special types with the other game. So we're going to have basically male and female zombies going into the main part of the board. I'm going to get a bunch of those out, and we're going to start with. Let's just put a. We're going to start with the numbers. In Zone 1, we're going to have 2 zombies, so we'll start with a cute couple right here. Nice, lovely couple that died in the town. Then we're going to have 3 in this zone to start, and then we're going to place 4 in the last zone. So, again, we just use regular walker zombies in the very beginning because we don't put any brutes, runners, or creepers out until they come out from the draw of cards. So I'm going to set up the rest of the characters' boards off camera, but that's how it looks like it's set up for their board. Of course, we are using the extra bonus skill cards from the expansion, and I'll get those set up and we'll come back and continue. So the next thing you do is you take the follower cards. Followers are basically your way to win, but followers also have victory points and special abilities. some are good and some are bad. So the higher victory points they tend to be, the more likely they are to have a negative ability or a negative effect in your game. So we're going to shuffle those up, and I'll do those off camera and put them to the side ready for play. Next, we basically do the same for the location cards. Now location cards, like this town line card, which is the one we first checked to see what our conditions are, these are going to represent places that we can find that give us special abilities and things that we can do while we're there. Basically, you can have one in a given turn. When you draw it, it's there for you at the start of your next turn, and then after you've used it, it goes away. And actually not after you've used it, whether you use it or not, it's going to go away, but you get the opportunity to play the card, or to use the card. So we're going to shuffle those up and put them out, and we'll move on. Next up, we have the event cards, and event cards are going to come out at various times based on the roll of a special die known as the action die, or the event die. So there's other ways that those might come out, but that's the primary way. So we're going to shuffle these up again, and they don't go into any particular stack. We're just going to put them along with the rest of the cards that we're keeping. Now for me, because of the way I'm filming, I'm putting them all to one side, but normally you'd have them in the center around the players with an easy reach so that everybody can get to them, because they will be drawing these cards throughout the game. But anyway, that's the event cards, and we'll go over the details of them when we draw them and how we draw them as we play, but I just want to show you for the setup that which cards are included and where they go. Okay, next up we have loot cards. As you can imagine, well, there's some stuff that isn't actual stuff. You could run into some zombies. You can command a zombie to attack. That's cool. You can advance. Anyway, yeah, these are item cards and stuff. Some medical supplies, chainsaw, lucky charm, axes, shotguns, yada yada, etc., etc. You know, it's a zombie game, so there has to be loot. Anyway, we're going to shuffle those, put those to the side as well. Nobody gets anything at the start. Next up are fleeing cards. As you can see, there's quite a few decks of cards in this game. Lots of things you can do. Now, what are fleeing cards for? Well, when you're going to roll your action dice, there is a bad mark on the bad one on them. Is this the zombie? For every one of these you roll, you cannot re-roll those normally. When you go to the what they call the hunt phase and zombies show up on your board, this will add to the amount of zombies that show up on your board. However, you can re-roll all of your red zombie tokens by taking a flee card, and they have various negative effects. So you can flee, but in this case, so you don't have to add those red zombies, but you're going to advance 3 zombies in your board, 1 zone. Things like that. So you're taking, it's a risk-reward type of thing, push your luck type of thing. I want to re-roll my red zombies, so I'm going red zombie icon, so I'm going to take a fleeing card and see if that does better for me. Okay. The very last of the card decks. It's the zombie cards. These are when the mutant zombie cards. When the mutant zombie comes out, you're going to be facing this fellow, and he's pretty nasty. So we're going to have his wound tokens nearby and his cards up, and if he comes out, we're going to put some wound tokens on him, and we're going to be drawing cards for him against the player that he's fighting against. He's pretty nasty. But that basically is all of the components set up for the game. After that, we're going to be pretty darn ready to play. So get ready to run from some zombies. This here card is very important. It's going to stay with us the whole game. The one, if I was to give this game a major drawback, having not even played it yet, it's that there's only one of these. I am going to probably print enough to have one for each of the 4 players. I did not get the 5th player expansion pack. I figured if everybody loves this game, I'll go ahead and just buy it retail when it comes out. But this shows you all the icons and actions that you can do, because you can get sets and combos when you're like a searching set when you get followers. And on this dice, the big die, you can see that these symbols exist. Here's this symbol right here. The more of those you get on your 5 dice, the more you can do. Same with the Book of the Dead, which is a special icon that gives you another set of abilities. And you know, bats, guns, and running basically all have the same feature. And then of course the zombie icon. And on this side you got what the event deck does and how that works. So you can see that right there. And then you have an end of turn sequence as well. So this card is extremely important. So we're going to just keep that by us at all times as we play. Next thing I'll show you is the actual turn order. It's pretty straightforward, and we're going to follow it step by step each time so you can see. But you have the action phase, so the thing you do initially per player is you roll the dice, and you get, now, like typical games of this nature, you get some re-rolls. So you roll your 5 dice first, and then you get to re-roll up to 2 times. Of course, not rolling the red zombies again unless you take one of those fleeing cards. So again, it says that here. So initial dice roll, you resolve, the first thing you do is you resolve the event die that's with your big selection of dice. So we're going to do that. And then after that, you're going to do your re-rolls if you want any, and you can perform actions at that point once you've decided on the that you want to stop rolling any further. So once you've rolled 1, 2, or 3 times, you're going to stop. Then after you've taken all those actions and the actions of, you know, the other followers you have and any special actions you might have, we're going to go to the zombie advance phase where every zombie on your board is going to move up. You notice there are some special things there. Now in this case we're going to be using the zombie horde expansion, so there is a little change in the play there where we're going to be drawing one of those horde cards to see what kind of zombies come out. And so that's going to be a little different in this phase. So we're going to have a little addition to the hunt phase. And then after the hunt phase, we're going to go on to, and again, you note it says add 1 zombie for each of the zombie icons on your dice there, right there. Okay, and then we're going to check for end conditions. So if a player has 5 followers, he gets to declare. And then game ends immediately if any character players die. So even though this is not cooperative, if any players die, the game ends. And if we reach the town line, the game ends. And then also if we have 20 mutant wound tokens awarded to the 3 players that we have today. So if we've really done a lot of damage to the mutant zombie, the big baddie, then we'll be in good shape to be able to win the game as well. So that is the end of our setup and a brief overview of gameplay. Now we're going to I'm going to do one full turn in this video, and then after that I'll do another video with some more turns. But this will give you not just a primer, but it'll give you one round to show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we are with our Sassy secretary. Her ability, just to go over the abilities real quick, is talk to the hand. She get nice. On each of your turns, you must ignore 1 penalty and 1 bonus from any of your followers. So basically, you're telling your followers talk to the hand, and then you have a dice combo bonus. I'll take that. When rolling this combo, ignore all dice icons and do not advance any zombies this turn. Instead, steal a loot card from another player. But to do that, you need to roll 3 zombies, a gun, and a book. I would imagine that's pretty hard. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to go roll our dice for our lovely Sassy secretary. Okay, so we have all our dice here, our 5 action dice and our special event die, and we're going to roll those. Boom. We got a bunch of guns, a flea, a follower search token, and our events. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our event, and to do that we're going to look at our event card. Well, we got unlucky right off the bat with a Zombies Rise. It says add 1 zombie to Zone 2 and 1 zombie to Zone 3. So let's go do that. First thing we have to do in doing this is draw a zombie horde card. So we draw our zombie horde card and we look. The first zombie that we're going to draw, which is going to be in Zone 2, is going to be a runner. And that's bad because runners have the terrible ability of moving more than 1, and you can't push them back as you would normally with the run icons, which I'll show you what that does later. But this runner goes into this zone right here, and then we look at the next one, and it's a regular walker. That's good. We've been blessed, and so she gets to add a walker right there. That is the entirety of her event. So basically we're going to discard the zombie horde card, and once a deck is depleted, you just reshuffle them and go again. And then we're going to look at our action dice and see what we want to keep and re-roll and blah blah blah, or do whatever. So I'm going to go into probably a little more detail this now as opposed to when we're looking at this later, so I can explain why I'm doing certain things. So for each gun you have, it'll do 1 damage to any zombie. So she's got 3 guns. That's a good focus for her. See, the run ability allows you to move any zombie back 1 zone. But that'd be great too, but you can't move the runner back anyway. It'd be better to kill the runner. And we only got one search icon. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep, and again, you can re-roll these later if you don't like them. We got no zombies. That was good. So we're going to take the search and the run icon and roll them again and keep the guns. We have 4 guns now and a run icon. I think, well, I think we're going to stop right there and go back and do some damage. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. So let's go back and apply all of these dice that we rolled. So now that we've done all of our re-rolls, we've decided to stop. We're going to take our actions. Our Sassy Secretary doesn't have any way to use her special ability currently and did not get her dice combo. What she got here was this. So we're going to use these. I think the first thing that we're going to do, as I understand it, and the way I understand the gun action, you can use these in any zone you want. You don't have to use them particularly in any way. Like, you can't say, well, basically a gun does 1 point of damage to any one zombie in any zone, or does a wound to a mutant boss. And that's all it says, so it doesn't matter which ones you get. So to be on the safe side, we're taking one of these and we're going to apply it to this runner. So that comes off the board. We're going to take another one, and we're going to take the 2 zombies out of the front of her row. That's 2. And then we have one more. We'll just take another walker out of the back, the second row there. And then with this one, we can push one of these walkers back. In other words, it represents her fleeing, running from these zombies. And that's basically her action turn. But there's more to do. Since she didn't try to flee and she didn't have any zombie dice, she's going to add 3 zombies to her board, to her zone 3 up here at the very top. And again, how we do that is we draw a card. So she gets a real nasty one right off the bat. She gets a Brute. Now, remember, each of these have a special ability. This is the Brute. His special ability, and he goes back here, is that it requires 2 guns simultaneously in the same round to kill him. So you can't do like 1 wound now, 1 wound later. The second one is going to be a runner. So we got a special runner coming out onto the board as well. And then the third one is going to be a regular walker. Just another walker. But you can see that the zombies are quickly piling up and finding where she's at and come after her. That is basically going to end her turn. I mean, we now check for victory conditions, blah, 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 blah. There is none. So after the hunt phase, there's no end conditions. We didn't have any events, no locations. We will continue on. Now we're moving on to our phone technician. I guess he'll be Bob. His special ability, and by the way, they do have a backstory. It's on the back of the card. I'm not going to read them in this session. I might read them like one each game session later. I don't want to take up too much time reading stories with you guys, unless you want to hear them. But anyway, his ability is resourceful. He starts the game with a loot card of the player's choice. I didn't do that, so we're going to do that now. So many of the loot cards say discard after use. This axe doesn't. So for his first item, we're going to give him enough room here. We're going to give him his first item, which is going to be an axe. Basically, it allows me to change any icon here to a bat icon, which will allow him to kill any zombies in his zone 1. So that'll be helpful for him later. But his other combos, dice combos, pole climber, says push back all zombies in either zone 1 or zone 2, then re-roll all action dice 1 more time. So if he gets his special there, which will be hard to do. But let's go now and roll his dice. Okay, so here's his dice right here. We got his the event dice and the 5 action dice. We rolled them. The first thing we're going to do is pick up the action dice. Look at this. He's got lots of bats. There's nothing that helps him for keeping a combination of bats. So he's got 1 gun and 2 bats. I think he'll keep 2 and 1 so he can shoot some things. But the first thing we have to do, of course, is deal with his event card. So his event card is ambush. He simply takes 1 wound. So there's no getting around that. He gets to take a single wound. And we'll just put that on his character sheet, and it is done. Now we got to go to his action dice. So we're going to take these 2, and we're going to re-roll them again. So second roll, we got a gun and a flea. I think we'll keep the gun, and we'll re-roll the flea 1 more time. And there's another bat. That doesn't help. But let's go see what happens with his rolls. So he got 3 bats. We can take 2 of the dice here, boom, and we'll apply them to these 2, so they get killed. And then we have 2 guns, So we're going to take those, and the other bat is going to be wasted, and we'll shoot 2 from this row, and they're gone. And then that's going to basically be it, because this last bat he has nothing to attack with. You can see on the icons here it shows you which you can use. You know, we re-rolled that flea. If I kept it, he would have been able to push that last one back, but he didn't. Not the biggest crisis in the world. Oh, you know what? I need to go back to the Sassy Secretary for one more thing. Actually, at the beginning of the hunt phase, I got to take these 3 out for a moment. At the beginning of the hunt phase, this is what happens. So all of these guys had moved forward, and then these ones came in right there. So yeah, that's how it should look. Sorry, I missed that. I won't miss it again. Now that we've applied all his dice, the first thing you do in the hunt phase is you advance. Well, the zombie advance phase is really next. You advance the zombies. Now, if a zombie is in zone 1 and moves further, he's going to wound your character. So right now we're just going to move all these zombies up, and now we're going to place 3 zombies on the board. He didn't have any zombies in his dice, so we're going to draw a zombie horde card. We're going to see what happens here. It's a crawler, but he does not go in. I don't think he goes in zone 1 immediately. I think it has to say that. I'm going to double check. Yeah, it'll tell us if the crawler starts in zone 1 or not. But here is one of the crawlers. He's not too bad. He's like a normal zombie unless he gets lucky and starts sooner. A runner is going to appear there as well. And another runner. So this card was not our friend. Oh, I've got the wrong kind there. I need these 2 guys. Okay, 2 runners. Well, they're stuck together, so I ended up with 3. But basically you get the idea. There are 2 here. And those are the 3 zombies that come onto his board. And now that basically is going to end his turn as well. That's the hunt phase. Obviously we're not going to get any victory conditions, and so that ends the phone technician. Now we're going to move on to the sweet prom girl. Okay, here's our sweet little prom girl, and she's got a bunch of things going on too. So we're going to start, and we're going to look at her special ability. It says Look of Innocence. Once per turn, when you draw an event card, you may discard the first card and redraw, keeping the second. Okay. Her dice combo is In-Shape Jogger, so she's hot. She jogs, I guess. When rolling a combo, ignore the zombie icons and remove from your board any 5 zombies and place them back into the surplus. So if we do that, we get to ignore the icons. And the other ones, you don't get to ignore the icons. But let's go to the dice roller and see what she rolls. Okay, we're going to roll a bunch of dice again. First, we're going to start with her event, which is Zombies Rise. 1 zombie to Zone 2 and 1 zombie to Zone 3. So we're going to do that now by drawing a zombie horde card. Let's see what it says. A brute, yucky. So I'm adding a brute currently to Zone 2, the middle zone for our sweet prom girl, and a runner. And that runner is going to go in zone 3 at the very back. So at least they'll get a chance to take them down before, or she'll get a chance to take it down before it gets to her. Now we got to look at her dice. What do we have here? Well, we have 1 zombie, so we know we can't re-roll that without an escape. She has 1 gun and 1 bat. And 1 book. Let me see. Let's look at what the books do by themselves. I don't think 1 does a whole lot. It says draw an event card. And the search, so we can draw an event card with 1 book, and again with 1 book we can draw a location, but that's only going to allow her to kill 2 zombies, which means she will get damaged. That's not good. So we're going to re-roll these 2 dice and see what we get. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, so this is going to be our first. Well, let's think about this. What does she have to do now? If she can roll 2 fleas, she's got 1 re-roll. And she's got these 3. If she can roll 2 3s, she gets to take 5 zombies off her board, or 2 running icons anyway, like this one. What are the odds? We're going to roll these and see. No, she got the same thing. So I think what we're going to do, I don't know. I think she has to pick the flea card prior to doing that, because we're going to try to go for her special ability. Probably not the wisest thing in the world. But let me look at the flea cards, and I'll come back and we'll decide. So to draw a flea card, you have to have remaining reroll, and we don't. So that was a risky move for her, and she's actually going to get hurt as a result. So let's go back and deal with what comes next for her. We're going to leave the dice there right now, because the first thing that's happened is she does get to shoot her gun, and she's going to kill one of the zombies in her first zone. Let's go back to her board and take a look at that. Uh-oh, bad news. Anyway, she's going to kill one of them with her gun. She popped it with a gun. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the book icon. One book is going to be to draw an event card. I don't know if these are good or bad or not, so we'll have to see. Here's her event card. Dum 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 dum. Let's make sure you can read it clearly. It says hold card. This means she gets to keep it. Barricade. The building has a door that unlocks. Let's hope there are no zombies inside. Whenever you draw a location card, you may discard this event to prevent all Zone 1 zombies from advancing in the zombie advance phase for that turn. Well, we didn't draw a location card, so she's just going to keep a hold of that. Unfortunately, it doesn't do her any good at the moment, and that's going to basically end her turn. So we're going to go from there to our zombie advance phase, and this is where things are going to get ugly for her already. She's going to advance, this one's going to advance one and do a point of damage to her. So, boom, point of damage. Then we have this brute and these 3 walkers that move up next. And then this runner is going to sprint up to here, and these walkers are going to move to here, and we still haven't done her zombies. Now keep in mind, she's going to have to draw the zombies for those zones, but she also has 3 more coming in. That's going to be bad news for her. So let's see how that looks after we start placing them out. Okay, well, 6 zombies are on the way to our sweet prom girl. They must like her look of innocence. And we draw our cards, so let's look at this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a runner in the backspace, another runner. And a big brute comes into the backspace as well. And then we have a crawler that, again, luckily does not start in the Zone 1. And then our 4th one's going to be another runner. This is not good for her. Another brute comes out. This is a really ugly card. And one more crawler. So her back row just filled up dramatically. And that was after we moved everybody. So that's going to end the round and also end our first session. You can see that the other 2 characters did pretty good, but our poor sweet prom girl, she's bellowing, screaming bloody murder as the zombie horde is coming down upon her. She is already wounded, so hopefully she'll get some good luck rolls in her next roll session. At least we can hope. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. We're going to continue on with our next session of this. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy our run-through of Run, Fight, or Die.